Hi, I'm Spaceboy.
And I'm Surlana.
And you're listening to Spaceboy Universe
on the Paranormal UK Radio Network.
This is Patrick Stat Spore, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hi, I'm Spaceboy.
And I'm Surlana.
And you're listening to Spaceboy Universe
on the Paranormal
30 21 seconds. 5-second tone followed by a 1-second pause.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Okay, gang, let's go.
From the space city called Houston, Texas, welcome to Spaceboy Universe, featuring Spaceboy and the lovely Surlana. So strap in and prepare for launch sequence.
Greetings and salutations. I'm Spaceboy, and across from me is the lovely Surlana, and this is Spaceboy Universe. It is March the 30th. Man, this month's almost over, Surlana. And we're on show number 3.24, which is another Exploring the Universe topic Roulette. That's right. And we'll open the Skype lines open so that you can call in and touch base with home base here. As always, follow us on Twitter. That's at the SB Universe. Follow Surlana at Surlana. Follow Spaceboy at Spaceboy Music. That's right. And of course, make sure to hashtag your tweets tonight with hashtag SB Universe and hashtag Space Cadets. In addition to Twitter, you can find us all over social media. Just search for Spaceboy Universe. Hey, Space Cadets, you'll want to check out the YouTube channel. We do more than the archive of shows there. You should definitely check it out. Are you already laughing already?
You sound like you're slurring over there.
Sorry, I got a little tongue-tied, and I'm trying to hold back a carbonated burp here.
Oh.
There it goes. I had to knock that sucker loose. There is video content from SB Music, video interviews, 2-Bit Gamers, and so much more. Hit that subscribe button and click that bell to be notified when content is available. Can't catch a show live? No problemo. Take the SBU on the go with you via Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartMedia, and Spotify, because, man, we love to broadcast. And on that magical note, let me bring in my lovely assistant that explores the universe with me, and that is Surlana.
Hey.
Did you get your sandwich down?
Yeah, I was like quickly trying to scarf it before you threw to me. So
sorry about the beginning. The goat was messing around with the controls, and I had to Phil punt the goat into next week, and hopefully it didn't scare Miss Michelle's goat. I mean her cat.
I don't see any evidence of Miss Michelle. I see Catalina in Spreaker chat, and Bev is over in our website chat where we have a
she's in the
chat room embedded on Spaceboy Universe.
She's in the official Bev chat.
We call it Bev chat.
Yeah, Bev chat.
So so our two hardcore loyal space cadets are here tonight. So
I think Bob. There's Miss Michelle. She popped up.
There's Miss Michelle.
Uh-huh.
Bob is under the weather. We will not be seeing Bob tonight, so I fully understand what he's going through. Hope he gets better. As someone who suffers from migraines at least once a month, I totally get it. I'm having terrible allergy problems. My problems actually woke you up in the middle of the night, and I couldn't breathe. And something I appreciate, because I work with computers all day and these stupid bright backgrounds with these white websites, is more websites and apps and programs are going to this thing where they have what they call dark mode, where you can flip a switch and it goes from like white to black or
Twitter was
gray.
like that, yeah.
So Twitter's got a night mode or a dark mode. Microsoft Office products let you go gray, dark gray, which I've changed all that over to dark gray. Photoshop's the same way. It comes in the dark charcoal colors.
Yeah, it's rough looking at that white background. And
yeah, you can't escape it from most stuff. But I'm like, when you can turn that crap off. I love being able to make things darker. I want Facebook to have a dark mode. I want that. Not just the one that gives me emotionally. I want a visual dark mode.
I was going to say, Surlana will just read some tweets about something out there that's making people mad, and there's your dark mode right there.
So, is there anywhere? Can I open tonight with a quote, and then you can take over if you want?
Oh, it's freestyle tonight, so
I'm going to open with a quote that Spaceboy said today. He had to go run an errand, and he said, "I don't feel like driving." I said, "What's wrong with you?" He's like, "I just don't feel like driving." I'm like, "Okay, so if you don't feel like driving, this means you don't feel like criticizing my driving." He's like, "Okay." So, of course, he can't not say something when I'm driving. So I'm trying to find a parking space, and somebody wasn't doing something that he felt they should have done, and he started motioning with his hand. And I'm like, "Are you having a stroke over there?" He's like, "No, but you need to use the car horn as an extension of your profanity." It's like, what?
yeah, because you didn't see what I was seeing.
I saw what you saw, but I didn't care. It's Saturday. We weren't in a hurry. It doesn't matter, right? So, I just dropped you off the door.
It was a person where they were on their phone, and I could see it. And when that happens and people are driving like a dumbass, then I want them to get out of the way.
Yes, but still, it just, I'm like, one, I can't be you. Two, I don't use that horn unless it's like I feel really strongly about something that's happening or about to happen to me in my vehicle. I really don't. I'm not the kind of person that uses the horn just indiscriminately.
So I was distracted by chat. I hope Bev's okay. And maybe she's probably trying to pick Miss Michelle's
I think they're
knowledge.
having yeah.
So anyway, that happened today. So I stand firmly on what I said, and the horn is an extension of your profanity mouth. So if you you want somebody to get the point and scare them into doing what they're supposed to be doing, like pay attention and drive, then
Well, there's always going to be distractions that sorry, now I've been distracted.
Yeah, did you lose a Cheeto?
No, I'm okay. Okay, full disclosure, right? Not ready for the show. No prep, no notes, nothing.
And I'm telling you, just us showing up.
I'm looking for things to talk about as you speak.
Oh, I see. So
it's just that I don't care about a lot of this stuff, There is a lot of stuff coming out of the EU, which is stupid.
You want to expand on that?
I think that Article 13 finally went through.
Mm-hmm, it did.
And, of course, we watched PewDiePie kind of, mention it a little bit.
And he's explaining that, sure, it's passed, but there's no,
what does it mean? What can you do? What can you not do? We don't know that yet, so we've got to wait and find out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, they have to find out because it's not going to affect us over here. I mean, we probably won't get some great memes coming out of the EU, but
But you will get copy striked in that country, right? If you're in that country, or they'll just block it, I guess. Which is another good reason to get VPN. So,
we're not sponsored.
Yeah, no, it's just. Well, I said VPN. I didn't say a brand of VPN.
Right, but
I just said the concept.
The reason
of VPN.
why I bring that up is there's all over the internet, so many countless things that we watch, or at least I watch, promote some kind of VPN software product.
I'm sorry, I'm not enjoying this tea, but I feel like I went to the trouble. I might
Did
as
you
well
like
drink
get the water out of the back of the?
I don't know. It's
toilet?
not what this. It's
Toilet water?
It's a green tea I've never had before, and it was
Free?
Well,
I was going to say you can't 5-finger discount. Bash it because it was 5-finger discount.
I was at work and they had a setup at a meeting, and so they had a tea that I liked, and I hadn't tried this other one, so I just sort of like casually and quietly.
They had fruit and they had vegetables, and you turned all that down. Turned all that down
and muffins.
And I said, "Well, there's nothing here for me, except this tea. So I'm gonna double up on taking all this tea."
Grabbed as many as I could and walked away. But I didn't have this one. I had this other one, so I'm trying this one, and it is not good. But I feel like I have to drink it because there it is. Don't waste the water. But here's something the EU is doing that I do kind of support. EU Parliament votes to end daylight saving time.
Now, see, that's a measure I could actually get behind. And
well, it's state by state. If Texas decided we don't want to do it no more, we don't have to.
True, but
Arizona doesn't.
Yeah, but if the government actually said, "Hey, we're going to get away from doing this," then bam, I'm sure all the states would follow through.
That would be, yeah. I don't think anybody really wants. Hey, there, Gene. Hi, Gene. Sorry, Gene, I'm looking for content. So countries have to decide to be on summer or winter time permanently beginning 2021.
That's just in Europe, right?
Just in Europe. Whichever countries are part of the EU. I don't know if...
Well, speaking of time change, here in Houston, I don't know which school district, but they're talking about going to a 4-day week.
Wow.
Yes, so that's like 1 day of good traffic, driving.
So does that mean, like, teachers lose a day of income?
I don't know. Maybe it's a teacher's work day.
Yeah, maybe they just go in and they just do grades all day.
That, or they go all get in a lounge and drink whiskey.
Because, they'll have those teacher work day where they have students stay home.
Mm-hmm.
During, it'll be like a Friday or something, so... never had one when I was in school. I don't know why. But, if you've got anything, go ahead. I'm still looking for content.
Well, how much I love the Alien franchise, right?
Oh, yes. It's well documented.
Yes, and an interesting, and now I've lost my thing here, my bookmark. Apparently a high school did a rendition of Alien. They took the movie and kind of did their own play based around the movie, and it was phenomenal. In fact, I saw a video of Sigourney Weaver complimenting them on their production, and they even got a letter from Ridley Scott
And Cameron's group too, right? Yeah. James Cameron.
He was impressed with it too.
And you know what I loved about that when you told me that, and I think you actually played some of it, and I was listening to it because you was in the living room. What impressed me about Sigourney and Cameron and Ridley is they praised them and thought it was awesome. You know what I loved about that? What they didn't do is their production companies didn't come after the high school to sue the pants off them for copyright. That's what I love about the story. Nobody said anything about cease and desist. This is our intellectual property. What the heck are you doing? Like Star Trek. You know? Mm-hmm. So kudos to Ridley Scott, James Cameron, and especially Sigourney Weaver. She's always super supportive of the Aliens franchise when fans come out to do something, you know. So
and she looked attractive, and
her hair looked amazing.
Yeah. I was impressed.
My goodness, you know?
Yeah.
So, that's one of those little feel-good stories. And didn't you, something you were looking at or you were reading it to me where he said more people wanted to come see that, but they only had, 2 nights planned.
Right.
And they didn't
And then
film
plus-
it.
Plus, the production, I guess the drama coach or whatever, they were so busy, they were already starting to plan their next productions.
Right.
This
is high school. They're just moving on,
And it's encouraging to see high school, because I was in theater arts when I was a kid. Man.
Rather than you're tired of Shakespeare,
Right,
and
and that's-
things,
and that's what I was
Romeo
gonna
and
get
Juliet,
at.
blah blah blah.
Doing something
Our
more modern.
Town. God, you get so tired of the stuff over and over and over and over. And why not let the kids do something they're really interested in, and their enthusiasm will show through in the production?
And it really did. It looked awesome. I mean, even the alien was phenomenal. So,
and look at all the coverage that school got.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you said that they would go back later and do a small film production of it so people could see.
Yes.
So, yeah, I agree with you, Gene. But, see, my first encounter with Sigourney Weaver that I can remember was Working Girl, where she played the bad guy, so to speak, the bad woman.
She has her moments when she's attractive looking.
Oh, well, you have to talk to Gene
Yeah,
about
I know,
that.
Gene. I don't know what's up with that.
What about the teeny tiny panties in Alien or Aliens?
And I wasn't even going to bring that up, but at least she wears them. I'm just saying, she just wears them.
Okay.
She even in Aliens, she's comes out of hypersleep out of that in some gray tops and bottoms, and of course the rest of the team there do too. But when she's made up, and she's for the lack
Not
of
that matters.
for the lack of a proper political term, when she's all dolled up, she makes one good looking lady, and that's my comment of the evening.
Now, speaking of looking at content like that, I had told you a few days ago that the day I stayed home and I had the terrible headache this week, it was on a Wednesday. And so when I got up and started feeling a little bit better, I was bored, and I came into the living room and I thought, well, I'll see what's on my Netflix, and I was checking this out. And so I checked out the first episode of something called One Punch Man, and it's a Japanese anime, and it was subtitled in English. And I was like, huh. So you watched it today, and then we watched some of it together, and I was like, I think I like this show. So I'm actually watching an anime now. Can anyone believe it? I can't.
Well, you kind of watched that other one that I liked.
Yeah, I could go back and get into that probably because it's so vibrant. Agretsuko.
It's about a red panda that works in an office building and
Very repressed, and but then she takes out her frustrations as a death metal karaoke.
good stuff. Hey, I know you're not a health freak, Surlana.
You think it's pretty obvious by looking at me. I look like I'm going to die pretty soon.
No, it's just that I know you don't like your vegetables, and you don't like certain fruits, and
most fruit.
And you got a certain milk that you'll only drink.
Well, that's
I know.
That's because I can't drink real milk. I can't.
Basically, health freaks in general will go to extreme lengths in the name of nutrition to stay one step ahead of the trend.
Can I leave the room first before you talk
can't.
about this? Please let me leave the room. Please.
But I'm afraid to say it is the latest superfood, and it is plain gross. And I am talking about cockroach milk. And yes, talking about the stomach churning to a whole new level, cockroach milk, which is comprised of the nutrient-rich milk crystals found inside the Pacific beetle cockroach. Yeah, so I don't care what Pacific Hang 5 or Hang 10 ocean it comes from, you're not going to get me to drink this milk. Anyway.
Yeah, that is all I really want you to say about it. Thank
Supposedly it boasts 4 times more as much protein as a cow's milk, but it contains essential amino acids that promote cell growth, lipids to keep our bodies healthy, and sugars that fuel energy.
The only way I would have that is if you gave it to me and didn't tell me what it was, where it came from.
So I want to meet the guy that's milking this cockroach to get this milk.
No. Let's quickly move on. Hey, are you excited that the Windows 10 calculator will soon be able to graph math equations?
Huh. I'd be more excited if they could bring back the clock that can be on your desktop instead of having the clock that's
Really?
in the corner. You know how in Windows 7 you had widgets?
I'm aware of it, but it was always turned off or something, you know?
I have wanted a little clock that I could put on my desktop. And
I'm sure there's free apps.
Yeah, but that's not the point. Microsoft had a product like that, and with their upgrades to 10, that's no longer there. The widgets went away. No more widgets.
They told me at work if I wanted to use VPN to connect to
Install
remote
it?
desktop, I had to go to Microsoft and get Sonic Wall.
Yeah.
That's what I have to use. They no longer have anything, in house anymore. So, but
trying to save a buck, huh?
yeah. So Microsoft is going to add that graphing mode to the Windows 10 calculator. It's I guess it'll just be part of an update, that you'll have. I thought that was interesting because the
cool.
calculator always seemed like it never worked properly in Windows, all versions of Windows, even the current version.
This is coming from the English major who hates math.
Yeah, but it just seems like it just doesn't seem right. Anyway, so, yeah. I like One Punch Man. It's not your typical hero thing. Like, he said he got strong just by training for 3 years nonstop and not giving up, but his enemies are like, well, we don't believe you. What is your secret? And he lost all his hair, and he's very chill for a superhero.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Gene. Gene was saying, I love sardines, but since Fukushima, I want to make sure I get that right. How can you trust most anything out of the Pacific Ocean?
Right. It's a good point. Oh, my voice is going all of a sudden. Okay, now I'm caught up from last week for news for there, so I'll switch over to pop culture. Of course, I've noticed you have kept going on. You don't ever stop, really.
What?
With Avengers Endgame fan theories.
Well, I'm always YouTubing, one way or another. I'm listening to YouTube in the background. Mostly it's news. But
here's bad about that is I'm about reading. I'm always reading something.
Yeah, I am a YouTube freak. I constantly get a lot of stuff off of, when we have husband and wife time actually together and we're watching YouTube.
Which means sitting next to each other in the same room. That's all that means.
We watch fell stuff, car crashes, Russian car crashes and stuff like that.
Meme stuff.
And then when it's me to get through the day, I listen to news items and things that are happening and just the world in general. And then there's kind of a segment out of my time through the day that I'm all over Marvel related items and the Avenger movie coming up and
our Star Wars
and our Star Wars. Not as much because I'm really waiting for the Starburst celebration.
I would go to a Starburst celebration. I love Starburst.
Star Wars celebration, which takes place next month, within the next couple of weeks, and that's when we'll get an explosion of new Star Wars stuff on the internet. People,
sorry, I'm making noise.
Being angry or people excited. I guess we'll wait. Can't wait to see.
Choice, by the way.
You're welcome. I bought her some Reese's peanut butter egg thingies, and. Go ahead.
Have you heard any specific in-game thing that you like, believe, or hope is true?
That there's going to be less Captain Marvel than there should be. That's one thing.
Is that what you're hoping?
Well, I'm hoping it won't be so much focus on her. Because really this movie needs to be about the established original cast of the Avengers.
Well, two things I have burning curiosity about.
Mm-hmm.
Nebula's role and Ant-Man's role.
Yes.
They've got to be pretty pivotal.
Right. I think it's great when they show the, I call it the hero walk. Mm-hmm. And they're in the Avenger building, and I guess they're walking to somewhere.
And Rocket's with them, too,
yeah, and they're all dressed in the special quantum universe gear. And
so that had to do something with Ant-Man. That has to do something. Because only he had access to that, right? As far as we know.
The quantum universe? Because he was stuck in it at the
he got out somehow.
Yes.
Well, it says here, everything we know about Nebula's role in Endgame. So, she is trapped on Titan with Stark, right? Mm-hmm. They were the only two people who survived the snap. So they had to have collaborated to get out of there, right? Because he ended up on a ship. Mm-hmm. So, she's not with him. He's in dire straits. That leads me to believe she effed off somewhere else on her own. So, she's trapped with him at the beginning of Endgame. And what I love is they're on the Guardian ship. I guess this is his second ship. He's gotten, Star-Lord. Mm-hmm. And it's called the Benatar. I'm assuming that's after Pat Benatar, because he was abducted in the 80s. You know, they don't really say, but that's got to be the reference there. He's shown wearing the same shirt he wore in Iron Man when he was in the cave, when he's in the ship. So that's got to be significant. Now, you do see Nebula, as you mentioned, in those special white suits. She's walking with them.
Right.
And so somehow she and Stark survive. I don't know if they went their separate ways and they came back together.
Well, there's a scene...
Or he told her to get to Earth.
There's a scene in the trailer that it shows some of the team out in a field looking up. Mm-hmm. And it's speculated that that's the scene where Stark and Nebula come back from space. And I guess they go out there and meet them and,
Well, these advanced tech outfits tease that they incorporate elements of alien technology. So Nebula could have been of real help putting those uniforms together, because she's got that knowledge. Nebula will be a key to the Avengers' plan to fight back, because she's a daughter of Thanos, of course. I mean, she's bound to know something.
Well, the reason why there's so much curiosity as to what's Nebula's role going to be in the MCU is because in the comic books, she basically ends up grabbing the gauntlet and using it herself and really kicking Thanos' butt. I mean, she's
going to time travel, for sure, they say.
The fact is that she's gone through a lot. Mm-hmm. I mean, with her and Gamora and, and everything that, every time she lost a fight, mm-hmm. Thanos would replace a part of her body and mechanically and, just despicable, as far as what he did to her.
Mm-hmm. Said she's going to be important in beating Thanos because she was in the Marvel comics.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you said, she got the Infinity Gauntlet from it, used it to undo his work, and restored people who'd been killed, but she was less equipped to handle the power. So Adam Warlock attacked her mm-hmm. from within the Soul Stone and had her surrender it, and it ended up in the Warlock's possession, and she was in prison, and Thanos still went off to do his quiet farmer.
And here's a spin on that too. You mentioned Adam Warlock. Mm-hmm. That was at the end of Galaxy Guardians of the Galaxy. The second one, where he was being created, and of course he's not going to be in this movie, Endgame, but that possibly might be a villain for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, where we'll see him come up. And what's interesting about Adam's role, he plays a major part in the comic book with dealing with the, as you mentioned, trying to come out of the Soul Stone and deal with Gamora. Not Gamora. What's her name? Oh, God, you think I would know everybody like the back of my hand. Help here?
What? I'm sorry, I moved on. I don't know what's going. It's time for the break anyway.
Is it? It sure is. What do you know? All right. Let's see here. As I stumble with my trackball to get the break loaded. Should have been already loaded. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Spaceboy Universe. Spaceboy in command here with my right-hand partner. And we will be back after these exciting adventures.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU Network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Surlana.
This is author Jordan Root. You are listening to the Spaceboy Universe.
This is K28, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hi, y'all. This is Lori calling from Texas, and I love listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, this is Dave Cruz, host of Beyond the Strange, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
This is Wendy. I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe. Hey, y'all. This is Lorelai DeLille. I listen to Spaceboy Universe. Don't you? Tell your mom and them I said hi.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Surlana.
Hey, Surlana.
What?
You know who Wendy Williams is, right?
Oh, yeah. She's going through some tough times, I think.
Yeah, this past week, she was found drunk and rushed to the hospital after checking out of a sober living house.
Something's going on. I've seen her show. She's enjoyable.
Flamboyant a little bit, but yeah.
But after a while, the more you watch, it's you're like, okay, I've had quite enough of that. But yeah, I don't anything. Let's put it that way. I don't have anything against her.
I was going to say, this is not the first time that she's been in some kind of controversy too.
Yeah, she's something always happens around her. I know a lot with her husband and her. Doesn't she have a son or something? I don't know if he's grown.
Something about. Are you playing a video?
Am I?
Yes.
No, you are.
No, I'm not.
I'm not doing anything. You're the one talking about Wendy Williams, not me.
Anyway, so yeah, just thought it was interesting because we've seen her on different things, and but yeah, something
is she okay or?
Well, she was rushed to the hospital. Let's see. Despite this, nothing appeared to be amiss when Williams appeared on her talk show Wednesday with a special guest. So, in other words, it was like normal. Business is normal when she went back to work.
I know I'm making an inordinate amount of extra noise over here. I apologize. I'm not trying to do it. Well, here's something I posted earlier in the week or a few days ago on my Facebook wall. And I didn't really click it to read it, but sometimes just the headline's all I need, but I will actually read this because I'm interested. Mystery of Garfield phones washing up in French beaches finally solved. Apparently, nobody's talked about this, or I've not heard it for 30 years, more than 30 years. Plastic Garfield, the comic strip character, the cat, phones have been randomly washing up on French beaches. I can't do this without laughing. And locals have finally figured out why they've been there. So,
apparently there was a bad storm in the Atlantic that I guess a shipping cargo must have.
I guess I don't have to read it now.
Overturned. I'm sorry because I've already read this one too.
Oh, I'll because we got to fill time. I'm going to do it anyway.
All right, go ahead.
Bright orange Garfield phones have been mysteriously washing up on French coasts for more than 30 years. 30 years they kept their mouth shut about it? Seriously? Local beach cleaners finally figured out why. So this is just your standard retro landline phone in the shape of Garfield the cat. There's actual photos of this. You know, they look pretty beat up because they've been probably picked up and tossed onto the shore. So they're, as you said, suspected to be lost shipping containers spilled at sea, but nobody knew for sure how or why that happened even. So he discovered the shipping container after a storm in the 80s, and the local beach cleaners were finally able to find a partially submerged cave. Isn't that interesting? Mm-hmm. He told us where it was, and it was very, very dangerous. This is one of the local beach cleaning groups. Mm-hmm. So we found this incredible fissure that's 100 feet deep, and at the very bottom, there was the remains of that container. And under the boulders in front of the entrance were 23 complete handsets with electronics and wires. And they thought, well, here's where the phones are coming from. However, the details are missing on what happened to the container and why it went down, how to get there, So many containers of Garfield phones ended up in the water and traveled to other locations. You'd think they would just sink right down, I guess, but maybe they're more buoyant than that, the light plastic.
Well, an interesting thing, a side note on this kind of situation is you get a lot of these containers will fall over.
Because they're
especially in the
choppy water, maybe
in the Atlantic too, as well, and they'll wash up on the shores of some islands.
So we have no idea what happened at the time. We do not know where it came from, what boat. Fabien Boileau, director of the Marine Nature Park in Finstre over there. We don't know if several containers fell into the water, only just this one. So for now, they're going to continue to pick up Garfield phones, and they'll keep an eye out for any other quirky plastic novelties. Garfield was very popular in the 80s. I mean, like, wicked popular.
I was a fan.
I had all the books. I had started collecting little stuffed Garfields. And, so, I mean, I could see how at the height of the Garfield frenzy in the 80s, phones, and then that shipping container, so it's plausible to me. I just got seriously distracted. I don't want to tell you about a video because I can't play a video, but I'm looking at what looks like to be like one of those trap cameras, for taking, black and white photos of animals at night, to see what's around. It says it's a slow motion video of a kangaroo rat ninja kicking a rattlesnake in slow motion.
That sounds cool.
So
maybe you could post that link in the chat room.
Link. Oh God!
So I've got some music news for you.
Hopefully, it doesn't autoplay.
Apparently, the Rolling Stones have postponed their North American tour as Mick Jagger needs medical treatment. The band announced the decision to in a press release this Saturday, explaining that the lead singer Mick Jagger needs medical attention. However, the release did not specify the treatment what it was for. Broken hip, maybe. The rocker is 75 years old.
I'll say it. The treatment is old.
He's expected to make a complete recovery. So if you got tickets for the North American tour, it's been postponed.
I cannot believe they're still doing it after all this time,
Oh, well, that's, phrasing.
They're still rocking, okay?
Okay.
I know it's only rock and roll, but I like it. Fisherman discovers severed shark head bitten off by an even larger creature. So, tuck yourself in tight tonight.
Was it Meg?
It doesn't say. So, yeah, I think that's something to worry about. Of course, if you just don't go in the water, it's probably nothing. Watch as YouTuber sends Big Mac burger into space and then eat it. Why you'd want to do that, I don't know. Lego celebrates Batman's 80th birthday with new Lego sets. Can't believe Batman, the franchise, is 80 years old. Can you believe that?
I can.
Was it the 30s, maybe?
It goes back
20s?
To
20s.
Because it started off as
20s or 30s,
Detective Comics. That's where Batman got his start. And then...
Is that what DC stands for?
Possibly.
Detective Comics? We finally get a look at Saturn's moons, little mini ravioli moons with Cassini. I think that's interesting. And I know I keep going back, but one thing you didn't mention about Endgame is you told me this, and I just didn't believe it. You told me it's going to be 3 hours long.
3 hours and some change.
What?
Yes, it's over 3 hours.
Over 3? Oh. So don't buy a beverage?
Well, you can get a beverage, just to also buy the catheter that goes with it.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so, I mean, that is a long-ass movie.
Well, that should give them plenty of time to cover everything, right?
I'm telling you, that'd be definitely, to sit through that whole thing and probably get a kidney infection, watching that movie. There were some rumors that there was going to put an intermission in it, but I think
you have to make it yourself.
I think Kevin Feige said...
Kegger Feige.
Yeah, Kegger.
You're not even trying anymore.
Kegger.
Who gives a crap?
Anyway.
Go for it. That was it? That's all wanted to say.
Yeah, well, you put me in a situation and then boom, drop the mic on me.
Oh, you can tell we're so disorganized, and you haven't been feeling well for a couple of days, I've noticed, and I've been so beat down with allergies. I haven't cared about anything, so that's why you're getting this type of show. Unfortunately, I'm desperately looking for things to talk about because I'm looking for geek news. If you've got anything, babe.
I'm trying to. I sat down and watched. We do the subscription things on Amazon.
Yes.
And so I broke down and we got the BritBox where we can watch British programming.
I'll have to check that out.
And today I sat down and watched an episode of Doctor Who that
from BritBox.
Yeah, from BritBox.
Not sponsored, but just
yeah. And it was an older episode that some of the tapes were missing from back then because way back then.
Oh, you told me about that.
They used to just
tape over the episodes and
that's
stuff. A tragedy for fans.
And so what they did was they did this and then they put it in the theater for a little while, kind of like some of the things they've been doing recently. It was animated, and it was quite interesting, to say the least. Mm-hmm. So, but I got to check that out today. BritBox. There was something. I broke down and rewatched Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, I believe. No, Jurassic.
The last one that came out.
Yeah, the more recent Jurassic Park movie. It's on Amazon Prime right now, so I got to rewatch that. It's one of those movies you're like, I don't know if I want to watch this. So I started watching it. Like,
I don't know if I don't want to watch it. So I started watching it.
In all fairness, Surlana likes to sleep until like 3 or 4 in the afternoon sometimes, and so
You're not going to find a lot of feedback on that.
I struggle to find things for me to do and to entertain myself. So
I
one of the,
really don't see how me being in the room or not changes your life.
That is the whole reason why I decided to go ahead and watch Jurassic Park. And it was one of those moments where I don't know if I want to watch this. Maybe
if I got up at 8 a.m.
Look, don't try to turn this show into.
There will be no difference.
I like the sleep party by Surlana.
There would be no difference in what you do during the day because you will still watch that content. I am not interested in it, so why should I bother sitting there? So there. It wouldn't make any difference if I was awake or asleep.
So you don't find me that interesting to hang out with me?
You're fine. It's just that things that you look at, I'm not 100% interested. Star Wars, I'm over it. Endgame, I do like to watch some of it, but I get a saturation point where I just want to see the movie now. And then you've got a bunch of other things you subscribe to. Like, you like the Orville, I don't care about it. I want to hear about it. You like The Walking Dead, I don't care about it. But if that's fine that you do, you got something you can do, that gives me freedom to go do what I want to do. So we do have things that collide, but more things that don't. And so I just got to keep most of it to myself. Taika Waititi's getting a lot of mileage. He's in more things and doing more things, I've noticed. That high school that did Alien production, they want to do Gladiator next. Isn't that interesting? Are you interested in John Wick 3?
Yes, but I'm going to see Shazam next weekend.
Oh, I don't even know when John Wick comes out.
Usually you rely on me telling you when a movie's coming out.
Because you're, excuse me, you're the movie person.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see Far From Home, but if for some reason we can't go to the theater, I'll wait and for you to buy it. Like I said, the only thing I really care about is next month on April 18th, which happens to be my birthday. Not that that matters, but that will be Riff Tracks Live, broadcast to theaters live. So I've just bought the tickets to that, and we will be going to that. And the cool thing about it is, hopefully if nothing happens on that day for you at work, right, and you don't have to stay past 4. You get off at 4, I get off at 4. Plenty of time for us to eat, then go to the theater. Your job place is very close to that theater.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of looking forward to hanging out with you at Riff Tracks Live. How about that? On my birthday. You got it like that.
So what, you're saying that you'd rather spend it with your boyfriend?
What boyfriend? It's you or nothing. If I didn't have you, you know what I would be doing, right? Just reading nonstop, uninterrupted.
You'd be like Burgess, Meredith Burgess in that scene from Twilight Zone, sequestered inside a bank vault and reading books for the rest of your life.
That sounds amazing. You know what I'd like to see? I would like to see another movie along the lines of Ready Player One. Well, I guess that's what Endgame and Hellboy and all this junk is, but just something that celebrates everything that we're into. That'd be nice.
You mean pop culture?
Yeah.
Well, if you do find it, make sure to get it to see it quick before the evil anti nerd culture attacks it and interjects its.
So there's going to be a Jay and Silent Bob reboot?
Yes.
I hadn't heard about that.
I forgot who's going to be in it.
Let's see.
I think they're passing the blunt.
Oh, that's funny. Rosario Dawson is going to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
So, Craig Robinson, Joe Manganiello, Frankie Shaw, Justin Long, Jordan Monsanto, Method Man, Redman. I was disappointed to learn the guy with the blonde hair that plays Jay, that's just a wig.
You were disappointed because it was a wig?
Yeah, they're not authentic. And of course, Silent Bob actually talks, so it's Kevin Smith.
You're saying they're posers? I mean, how can you say that they're posers? I mean...
You said that they're posers.
I mean, Kevin Smith is... I mean, when he talks about Stan Lee in the scene...
I didn't say that. You're trying to start, you know what,
anyway,
and I'm not having it. Jeez, Sandra Bullock was almost cast as Neo in The Matrix.
Neo?
Before Keanu Reeves. Can you imagine? I'd like to see that.
I'm literally trying to imagine that in my head. Because, maybe because she couldn't get out of behind the wheel of the... Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that for...
They've been in 2 movies together, haven't they?
They've been in more than 2 movies together.
Yeah?
There was that movie, kind of a time travel thing.
Yeah, it was like a love
thing, and a house by the river or something like that.
Yeah. The still photos I've been seeing from the new Hellboy look incredible.
Yeah, he
like the costumes.
He does look
the makeup, and Angelina Jolie is in talks to star in Marvel's The Eternals. And I keep forgetting we will be getting another Wonder Woman, but it just feels like it's never going to get here.
Yes, Wonder Woman, 1980.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing her back.
Has Men in Black International come out yet, or is that later?
No, it has not come out yet.
Because it looks like that might actually be pretty good. You told me this, didn't you? The Princess Bride musical is in early stages for theatrical production.
They're actually doing it.
I don't know why they have to make everything into a musical. Not everything should be made. I think musicals' time has come and gone. There was a time when, the world was more innocent and it was enchanting, but I think that's
that
over.
Truly makes me sad to hear you say that, because I like musicals.
I have my classics that I'll always love, like Sound of Music, My Fair Lady.
Well, wasn't what was it, that one with the nice Canadian kid in it?
Nice Canadian. Aren't all nice?
Ryan Gosling.
He's not a kid.
Well, he's compared to us, he's a kid.
Oh.
I'm trying to think of something, Music Land or...
La La Land?
La La
like
Land,
that.
thank you.
No, I never saw that, so I don't know.
I think that's a musical.
I have never seen any modern musical. I don't think I've seen anything past, the classics.
Xanadu?
No, I haven't seen anything past Xanadu. Oh, Lord. That's kind of crazy. I think the last musical I ever saw was Xanadu. That's insane. But speaking of music, though, right?
They turned that into a musical play.
Did they?
Yeah.
Now,
on Broadway,
I would be
Broadway.
interested to have seen that.
And, because skating and all that
Do you
stuff.
think they use the same music?
Yes, they did. And
Because-
in fact, they even wrote a couple of new songs for the theatrical.
Of course they do. I was right. That was probably the first mashup that I ever heard. It was with the three women that harmonized that, that.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, and then the Tubes. I don't know if anybody remembers the band, the Tubes, where they took the two music styles and they started merging them together.
The rock and the
Yeah. So
because Sonny was the rocker, and then
of course you've got
Singing
in the Rain
Gene
guy.
Kelly.
He's from that era, so he wanted to
big
hear
band.
his big band do, and the women that harmonized, like, the Andrew Sisters, Mr. Sandman. He wanted that, and he wanted that hard rock. Of course, it's not the actual hard rock, but they actually had a song where they blended the two genres seamlessly together, and on the set, actually blended the sets together. And I like that. I'd like to see a production of that live. That'd be cool. But that there's another Terminator coming, of course, because you're into that. I think you're into the James Cameron world,
Well, yeah, that, and I'm looking forward to the new Avatar.
Well, Terminator, is it called Terminator Dark Fate?
I think that's
what
the
I'm
name.
looking at.
Yeah.
That's an interesting name. Terminator Dark Fate is to be scored by Junkie XL.
When you say Dark Fate, it kind of goes maybe back to the original movie with her as because her thing was no fate by the choices we make.
So I'm looking at a still. I guess, and it's got her.
Is it the three ladies walking down? It's her, Mackenzie, and
what is the woman the tall woman with a weird? She's got like weird scratchings in her skin.
Is she wearing the white T-shirt,
tank top,
man beater? Her Mackenzie. I can't think of her full name, but it's some. She was on that show that Halt and Catch Fire. And
that's a sore spot for you. Dark Fate explains it's just a working title. It's not necessarily the end-all, be-all name of the movie. Mackenzie Davis.
Yeah, Mackenzie Davis.
Natalia Reyes. Gabriel Luna. And it will have Arnold and Linda Hamilton. And what absolutely made me die laughing, hilarious, is that Linda Hamilton is a twin. She has a twin sister that does stunts for her. And this is back when Graham Norton's show used to be good and really wild. But he has really toned down. He used to be a lot more gay. He's really toned down. But she told a story about on the set of the first Terminator that nobody told Arnold she was a twin. And her twin was there to do her stunts. And that he came up behind her and simulated a sexual maneuver behind her on set. And she turns around and says, "Oh, you must be looking for my sister Linda." And it just like... story that does not surprise me at all. So,
all right, speaking of searching, here's the break, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Surlana.
Hey, Surlana!
What?
If Spaceboy Universe was cheese, would you eat it? Come on now, it's a simple question.
Maybe?
SpaceboyUniverse.com.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Surlana.
All right, we're back, Surlana.
Indeed we are. No more goat for you.
What? Somebody mentioned a goat?
Here is a headline. I'm going to read it to you.
I was getting ready to say, you're starting to sound like Lipton.
I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm just going to back away. And you say whatever you want to say, right? Okay. Ready? Star Trek Discovery is stuck in the big, dull plot arc mud again. Discuss.
Okay. Well, basically, they, as they're heading into season 3, they've actually renewed this for season 3 for Star Trek Discovery, Disco or STD.
Disco.
The thing is that you can kind of really see the production value of the show's kind of gone down a little bit because they blew their wad at the earlier when it comes to the money aspect of doing this show towards the beginning of the show. And I think, me personally, the show has gotten better as it's gotten along, and they're really trying. I get the sense that they're trying to re-sync the universe back to where it's supposed to be, and that's why they brought Christopher Pike onto the Discovery, and there was an episode with the aliens that he goes to see that he ends up after he gets hurt. Christopher Pike is the one who's in that wheelchair in the original thing that he has this he push beep, one beep for yes, one or two beeps for no kind of thing. But overall, what was the question again, or what was the statement?
The statement was that right now it's stuck in a big plot arc that's like trapped in mud, and I guess it's boring or something, or.
Well, okay, so
I wouldn't know, hon.
My mouth is probably going to put some spoilers out there, so and I'm sure a lot of you, whatever. So there's been the Federation has seen these red bursts throughout the galaxy, and so it seems like Starfleet has assigned this ship Discovery to go out and investigate what's going on. So at the beginning of this particular season, you hear that Spock is I guess taking himself to a medical place because he's lost his mind of some kind. And also, if you didn't know, Spock is related to the main female character on here, Michael Burnham. Yes, I said Michael. She calls herself Michael Burnham. And so you finally they finally come together. They catch up with Spock, and this Red Angel eventually you find out is actually Michael Burnham's mother that supposedly died, and supposedly she worked for Section 31, and they were working on this suit that could time travel, and they stole some kind of time crystal from the Klingons. And so she got into the suit and started trying to fix the future because apparently in the future there is no life in our galaxy. It's all been destroyed. And you come to find out is through the course of this, it's this AI program that Starfleet has created to help with situations to better, I guess, say, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this. And ultimately humans would make, representatives of Starfleet would make the final say-so on the recommendations of this computer. But this computer's gotten so smart that it's trying to take over. And so, I don't know, I kind of disagree. It's not been stuck in a quagmire. I guess the big thing is that they're trying to correct what so many fans have hated about this show. And, because the show had to be 25% different because of the licensing thing. From the way it works is
weird.
CBS has got its TV stuff, and then the and then you got Paramount, who owns the rights to the movies. But in order for Paramount to do a movie, they have to get a license from CBS, which is the corporate thing. And
it's weird.
Yeah, it's a very
legality is split.
And who hurts in this situation
the
is
fans.
The fans, exactly. So, and the license basically dictates that the film, any kind of movie that's created, has to be 25% different from the original timeline or whatever.
Canon. Huh?
Canon, basically, yes. So that's been the big thing.
You see why I gave up on it? Because of that right there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you're not alone. A lot of people were frustrated with this new J.J. Abrams timeline, the Kelvin timeline. And in this TV show, they have the lens flares and all that. Now, a big beef about this is that when you watch The Next Generation, would you say it was well lit and colorful and
well, Next Generation, considering we're going from the late 80s and 90s and technology being what it was, it did have some darkness to the lighting, like in the ready room, in his room, in the captain's room.
Not to the extent of it being so dark that it was like watching some movie.
No, I mean, it had its moments. If they would go to another planet, and if it was a bright sunny day, so it had enough variety. I'm just saying that the quality of the lighting and the camera.
Do you remember the movie where the Enterprise had to separate the saucer section and landed it on that planet? And remember that one? Yeah. Well, in that particular,
might have been the first one,
or maybe it was. I'm thinking of
that's the first one. Yeah, Generations.
First Contact is what I'm actually thinking of, where Riker goes in there and he's talking to Picard in his ready room, and it's dark, and it's because of the lighting, and they're trying to make it seem more realistic, like, you would go into
their emergency lighting.
Well, they maybe got the lights dimmed down and using the light out of the window from a star or something, whatever. So it's that darkness and that gritty, dark feel of, like, that's how, if I walked into a room, that maybe the room would be that dark kind of situation. Mm-hmm. A lot of fans have not liked that out of this new show, and I'm just calling it the movie effect, is what I'm calling it. They're trying to get more
They're saying disco just feels dark.
Cinematic.
Cinematically dark.
And then what's frustrating is the lens flares are still there. You get those occasionally. It's like, God, you just want to choke J.J. Abrams because of him adding that. And you've seen that same effect going back even to his movie Super 8. But anyway,
I vaguely remember seeing Super 8, but
that's like Stranger Things meets E.T.
Yeah, but that was dark, and it had like it.
Anyway,
I don't think it ended well.
No. So, long story short, because I'm just rattling on.
Well, I'm giving you a format and a time to do this. What's on your heart, and you notice I'm just sort of backing away, let you have your moment.
Anyway, so I can continue before Surlana makes some kind of point about this whole thing about being sharing. Is that the show has grown on me. Lord knows I miss Star Trek. I love Star Trek, and I've not liked what Moonbutt has done to the whole thing, and
I agree with you there.
And so overall, I mean, it's been a decent thing, but I think out of having the show behind a paywall and all that has kind of hurt it in some ways.
Yeah.
And now I've heard.
Do you feel like what you've seen is not worth the money you've had to put?
No, because I actually watch other shows on CBS that the app it comes in handy.
You're a weirdo.
Yeah, Big Bang Theory, Sheldon. I watch that. I watch the NCIS thing that you don't like.
It's formulaic TV. Over time bores me.
I think at some point I'll start rewatching Madam Secretary. I used to like to watch that with Leah Tioni or whatever her name is.
You're kind of indiscriminate with your content. That's why I don't watch most of that. So,
well, I don't try. I try to.
I'm trying to stay away from the words TV whore.
Well, and this all goes back to when I worked at Blockbuster. I mean, I watched everything, so I could give recommendations. What?
Something about the way you said that just gave me like, Stefan, this club is everything.
Well, that's...
Dan Cortez.
That's kind of how I was back in the day when I worked at Blockbuster.
This place had everything. You want me to write a fake commercial like that?
No, I had one in my head, and it just amused me. So, but anyway, is it worth the money to buy it? No. If you got a friend that has it, can you bootleg it? Then that's the way to go.
I did have somebody, but I don't want to get in trouble. Do me a super quick favor, dear, because I love you. Just repeat this word. Okay? Supposedly.
Supposedly?
Supposedly.
Supposedly?
Supposedly.
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 Are you putting the D in there?
Yes.
Because it sounds like you're saying supposedly or something.
Supposedly.
There you go. Excellent. I just wanted to make sure you could say it if you wanted to. And you can. Awesome. And you're saying you're saying with an A, supposedly.
And this is my life married to an English major.
Well, you're better than that. You're smarter than that. I just want you to reach your potential.
Whatever.
So have you this will drive you insane, I bet. You and I are old enough. We lived in a time before cable TV. Mm-hmm. Then we lived in a time with cable TV. And then we lived in a time where, like, gosh, if we could just pick the channels we want.
A la carte.
Here we are. But it's not what I thought it was going to be. I thought, oh, freedom, but they found a way to screw us over, didn't they? They still found a way to screw us over. Well, now Comcast announced $5 per month flex streaming platform for cord cutters like us. Now, I notice more companies are going, it's like Netflix, in theory, I don't know if this is real, has a mobile streaming service where you can, like, it's way reduced. You only look at your content on your mobile device, which is where I look at it anyway.
Right.
Most of the time.
What's up with that?
I don't know, but I have to wonder, and this was something I was going to pull you into this conversation of, what do you think about that? Plus, is Hulu hurting for business? Because everywhere I look around, oh, you're paying your phone bill? You want Hulu? Oh, you're getting Spotify? You want Hulu? Oh, you qualify for Hulu. I'm like, I've already got it through you. I use your login to look at Hulu, which is almost never, because there's nothing there I want that I can't get elsewhere. But they bundle the crap out of it with everything. I'm like, are they hurting for business? Or so what do you think about these little cheapy plans? Are they for people who are not ambitious like you, or just watch? You know.
Well, I don't think it's for people like me. Actually, I had looked online for a service to watch. Like I wanted to watch like A&E and some other channels, and they're not packaged like we get them off of Amazon. And so there is, and I can't think of the name, but you can get it's like having cable without having the
box
the
and
box
the service
and stuff.
and the guy that has to come out and drill holes.
You can actually pay to get all those channels, and of course the fee for it was like $50 a month.
See, they still get you. I was
like, screw that. I'm not going to do that. And quite frankly, I kind of like focus on, this is how I look at stuff. Okay, I pick channels based upon I'm going to get the most out of what I want to watch, and then I pick some channels that I know that we'll both watch together. Mm-hmm. Like for example,
I'm going to check out BrickBox for sure.
Yeah, I know. Like for example, we've been watching a lot of Father Ted lately.
Because it's on Prime.
and
I do have the DVDs for Father Ted.
It's entertaining, I got the BritBox because I know that maybe Red Dwarf is on that somewhere, and I like Doctor Who, and then there's a few shows I would love to get into that I've never seen.
When I first started dating you, I was like, oh, thank God he loves British comedy.
And then, like the EastEnders, I'd like to check that out. I'd like to check out... I mean, you know.
I would like to check out. I don't know if it's on there.
What is it? Good Appearance.
Good Neighbors.
Good Neighbors. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an old one. Here it was called.
Keeping Up Appearances.
No, it was called Good Neighbors, but over there it was called The Good Life.
Okay.
Because there was a conflicting show on one side of the pond that already had that, but
there's stuff out there
stuff like
that I know.
I enjoyed it. See, you liked Men Behaving Badly, the original Men Behaving Badly, the British one, and that's kind of like on that level. It was like during that, like right after that Young Ones era, you know, that kind of stuff.
Clunes,
the Young Ones.
He was hilarious in that. Yeah,
Martin Clunes, yeah, he was good. The guy ended up playing Tony. I thought was pretty funny, his character. But
at some point, I'd love to dive back into Doc Martin, and
I was waiting for it to finish because it was like cliffhangered when we were in it. So, and I did not like the direction it was going either. But that was Martin Clunes again. And what I liked about that character, he's a doctor. He was a surgeon. He was a big time successful surgeon in the city, London maybe.
Yeah.
And he developed a fear of blood.
Yes.
So he kind of, I guess, almost ruins his career. I don't know if anybody ever found out that he had this new fear. He goes and becomes a country doctor on the English countryside of some small English country town. And it's like he's like literally the only doctor around, like the only medical clinic around. So, of course, it's just like packed, and he'd actually do house visits, you know. It's unprecedented, and this happens in the modern era. This is not like long ago or anything.
Yeah,
it's just
like how it used to be in America.
I can't believe this is the way it is, or maybe it was fictional. But his character, Dr. Martin, what's funny is Martin Clunes played that character in a movie, and then went off and developed the character on his own, which separated from the movie, because in the movie it was a funny character, it was lighthearted, and it was a movie that was starred and written by Craig Ferguson, who used to do, you know, the Late Late Show here, and I loved that show when he was on it. And it was so I love it when we would start watching Doc Martin. It says based on a character created by Craig Ferguson, you know. So I thought that was really funny, and that something about he helped a woman grow weed so she can make some money and get out of debt, you know, and she wrote a book about it to make more money, fictionalized it. So that was a good movie. I forget what it was called, but I like those backstories. I grew up watching British comedy, and the holy grail for me would be to get a hold of the two Ronnies. Both of those gentlemen have passed on, you know, within the last 5 years. 10 to 5 years, but they had that old school TV comedy variety, not Carol Burnett and all stuff. They would open up with their fake news program they did together, like their two newscasters, and then they would have a sketch together, and then it would be the younger Ronnie would sit down and tell you a story. He was in a chair and he'd tell you a story. It was always funny. And then the other one would have a sketch by himself where there's always some kind of word play, you know, mispronunciation. Just he was really nimble with words and dialogue. Then they'd have another sketch together, and then they would do a musical sketch at the end, and then the fake newscast to close. And that was the show every single time. It was just a little formula. You know, don't see nowadays. There's what I call formulaic television. It's like sitcoms and dramas. Like we used to watch, even reality TV, we used to watch a ton of stuff. We used to, together, back when we had cable. And it just got to a saturation point like Bones. We used to watch Bones. And I'm just like, you know, after 6-7 seasons, I'm like, I get it. Something happened. But that's like your job. You do the same crap every day at your job. I mean, why am I complaining about that? I'm like, maybe I've got enough routine in my life. I don't need more for my entertainment. But something happened. We don't know. There's a twist. Oh my God, they're almost dying. Will they, won't they, will they, won't they, will they, won't they hook up? No. Until they do. I was talking to we'll just call him a coworker because I don't know what to call people. I have people I work with, but I don't like interact with them every day. I don't necessarily see them every day. I don't necessarily, I have my own office. We were talking about, like, the show Frasier.
Yeah.
Back when we had TV and cable or, even local TV, I would catch it every now and then, it'd be on near something else I would watch. And I thought the show was smart, for the most part, clever. It was more elevated humor than everything else going on around it, like even Cheers, which is where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I knew that the British character Daphne, that Miles had this crush on her, so I'd always check in when they would interact. And then finally, then you started watching, that was the Will They Won't They, Will They Won't They, and it started getting, you could feel like it's starting to get close. So I started getting interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, they do, and you're like, well, now I'm not interested anymore, because they didn't follow it up with any interesting interactions. And then the same thing happened on Friends with Monica and Chandler. I watched that episode really hooked up because that was so unexpected. I wasn't watching Friends, but I knew it enough to know who these characters are, kind of what their roles are, and, just in passing. And that was a cute episode, and then when they came back, but they didn't maintain that to where it was fun and interesting. They had to have one of them cheat. And I'm like, why do we have to have that crap? So, I never told you this, I don't think, but I watched The Office, the American Office.
What?
Just until Pam and Jim got together, and then I lost interest. Quit watching it.
It did seem to kind of fizzle, but I kept watching it.
But their chemistry up until they acknowledged that was really
Why would you hold
perfect.
that back? Because that's a show that we could talk about.
Yeah, but you'd want to keep going, and I'd be like, and you'd get upset.
No, you mean keep going and watching
to watching it, and you'd get upset that I'd lose interest.
No, I just love to talk to you about it.
The only thing I've ever started to watch on my own, did tell you about, and did not ever lose interest was Breaking Bad. And I can still talk about Breaking Bad today, because that was a dark show that did not end well. There was no real happy endings. There was maybe Jesse got some relief, but he had to go through tons of heartbreak and physical and mental torture. But that show was still like, that show was like a meaty steak dinner you can chew on and had your mashed potatoes and gravy, and it was like satisfied. It's not good for you in the long run, but you got a lot out of it. Whereas Better Call Saul is much more intellectual. That's like watching a chess game if you're really into chess, and I have really enjoyed it. And it's not over yet. We're still waiting, for some stuff. But I just got bored of formulaic, and that's what I liked. I think that's why I liked Breaking Bad and Better Call. You didn't know it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
It was never a formula. It's not set up. You're like, it was always something. There would always be one thing on every episode that would just blow your mind. And that's the kind of content I do enjoy. And I'm not finding a lot of it on quote-unquote TV. I guess we'll call anything's on TV that's streaming, I guess. That's why I live in the world of books, where, anything's possible. Because there's no budget limit in a book for your brain. So, but, I know you get frustrated when we do start watching something together, and I'm like, I just don't want to see this anymore. Because, like, what was that? Orange is the New Black went 3-4 seasons in. Like, yeah, I feel dirty watching this. I'm not going to watch it anymore.
And you're the one that wanted to start watching
Yeah,
it.
because there's such buzz about it. And it was interesting. I've never seen a women's prison, blah, blah, blah. And it had Janeway in it. I can't think of her real name. Captain Janeway. Kate Mulgrew. Yeah. Playing a Russian. That intrigued me, but it's just so, I don't know, something happened. I didn't want to see anymore.
Well, as I'm always stumbling across to find a new show to binge watch, I was really surprised by Parks and Recreation. Now,
that was sort of the Office counterpart, wasn't it?
It had Amy Poehler in it. And
Chris Pratt,
yeah. And then, the character Ron, he's the guy with the mustache. And
Swanson.
Yeah, Ron Swanson. And his outlook on things was a connoisseur of meat and bacon, yes.
It sounds fun.
His character was fun, and then his actual wife was in the TV show too as well.
Oh, she was in Will and Grace.
Yeah, Megan
Mullally. She played, I can't remember her name, but Karen. Karen!
Yeah. She's apparently the one that has the cat.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it looks like we were hitting the time button here, and so let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back for more conversations with Spaceboy and Surlana.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU Network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Surlana.
Greetings, Space Cadets. Let's see what's in the sky tonight in the Spaceboy Universe. Tonight, in the eastern sky, we have Spaceboy Universe rising above the horizon in glorious splendor. And in the west, we can see Surlana's Majoris, which is visible at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, just below the K28 belt. So keep your eyes on the sky and listen to Spaceboy Universe.
I'm Solaris Blue Ribbon, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Surlana.
Okay, we're back. got my beverage going on over here, and
Miss Michelle asked in our embedded web chat if the phone lines are open, and yes, Skype is open, and that number is
713-701-5214.
Oh, that was seamless. That was nice. One more time, please.
713-701-5214.
Just she wanted to know, so
if you're going to call Miss Michelle, you better do it before Bev does.
Or before the goat comes back. It's not showing it on the page, but it showed it on the thing I clicked. This is really weird. Sarlacc pit coffee table featuring a struggling Boba Fett is bound to be a great conversation starter.
That actually sounds kind of cool.
Well, it's on this techtimes.com, and I saw like the thumbnail. I click it to go to the article about it, and it won't show the image, but it shows it on the landing page. And it's just, so it's got just a round glass on top of it, and then you're looking into the pit, and you've got Boba Fett's arm trying to come up out of the pit, and you've got the little, I don't know if those are teeth or whatever. Yeah. Can you imagine having that in your living room? Oh, man. Somebody made a life-size replica of the BFG, if you know what that is.
From Doom?
Doom, original Doom. And it's even bigger than you think.
Oh,
and you know what the F stands for, and we can't say. It's a big or gigantic effing gun.
Frack.
Yeah. So somebody went ahead and just built one, like a little replica, and it's supposed to be like real life size that the Doom Marine or Doom Slayer or Doom guy would carry in the game.
Say, is it like $500, $600?
I don't know that it's for sale. I think just somebody made it for themselves. No, wait. See, Doom publisher Bethesda recently collaborated with My Mini Factory to bring a real BFG to life, and the results speak for themselves. It's huge. It's an understatement. 35 hours to design each piece of the gun, based off in-game files and ID Software's, information from the newest entry of the Doom franchise. So this isn't the old one. So more 70 pieces were needed to bring this one gun to life. That's 2,450 hours of work, 1,000 hours to actually 3D print it. It weighs 36 pounds. It's 3 feet long, 18 inches tall and wide. And they gave it to a fan that won it, and they took it home and had a really hard time figuring out how to display it.
I imagine so. Something that huge.
3 feet. So I think that's interesting. I like that. I'm a fan of the original Doom, in case you haven't figured that out. But speaking of model replica weapons that don't exist, a former NASA engineer has built the world's largest Nerf gun. And it fires the plungers at 40 miles per hour. You gonna kill somebody with a Nerf gun.
Put your eye out with that, kid.
Yeah. And I'm just like, wow. This site looks really old. Like this, the information here looks really, really old. So I'm going to close this site because I'm thinking it might be
too old,
outdated.
Nothing worse than outdated stuff.
Outdated geek stuff. Because some about Carrie Fisher like she's still alive. More stuff about blockchain. I won't bore you with that, but just know that we told you about it, and that the technology and the idea, concept of blockchaining is not going away, and it's something borrowed from cryptocurrency.
It's not too late to just drop $100 into some Bitcoin action there.
Yeah.
And
think it's worth it?
Yeah, I need to.
Still?
I need to put some money back into my account.
Amazon is hiring 800 and an HQ Q2 runner-up in Austin. So they're hiring 800 tech workers here in Austin. Well, here in Texas, in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
We're in Houston, by the way. Expanding to a new facility in Austin. Maybe we should move to Austin. They're going to announce plans to grow Austin as a tech hub. Good place for it.
Well, you got Dell that's just north of Austin.
Oh, that's true, right?
Mm-hmm.
Amazon is actually headquartered in Seattle. They are breaking ground on a second headquarters in Northern Virginia.
Yeah.
And why did they decide to go to Virginia, Spaceboy? Tell me.
I knew you're going to bring... I know Gene will appreciate this. It's all because Alexandra O. Cortez couldn't keep her trap shut, and basically Amazon said, you know what? If you're going to be this way, we're not going to build a building in New York. We're going to go down to Virginia and build our new facilities there. So
I thought it was also due to unions and taxes.
Well, no, they're putting all this towards pointing a finger at her for, stirring the pot. I mean, they had the deal. It was pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yeah.
And then she came along and, my favorite phrase, couldn't keep her pie hole shut.
Well, didn't, city officials and the mayor, beg them, please don't go, because it was going to bring jobs?
Yes. I mean, there was a lot of jobs that were going to be coming into the community and, a lot of opportunities. And it was going to be a domino effect because, you bring Amazon, right? And then where are they going to go eat? Well, you're going to build places places where they can go eat, where they can go shop and spend their money that they've earned working at Amazon. And so that extension of that revenue is not going to be there because they decided to move their location to Virginia. I mean, they're not that far. Virginia's not that far from New York, but still, it's not in New York. And Cortez is the reason why that they decided to leave that location.
Interesting.
Yes, indeed.
There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of headlines about Amazon and Microsoft and them kind of clashing lately. So,
it gets to a point where, how much money can one person have, and, Amazon's doing great business. Microsoft, is doing good business. I mean, it's made Bill Gates into a billionaire. Or shall I say Bill and Melinda Gates.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. I'm trying to find some news that's a little bit more, fun and out there.
Well, let me throw something at you. Were you a big fan of the Disney animated movies?
When I was a kid.
I mean, you liked them.
And when I saw The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast, I was like, whoa, that's really... Because that's the new generation being kicked off.
Right.
That was really something. I guess you could call that a musical. Little Mermaid.
What are your thoughts about these new live action versions of
Not
Disney?
gonna watch it. Some of those live actions are live action. Some of them are actually computer generated, interface. But like The Lion King is actually CGI. It's not,
right.
simulating real life. But it's not. No, I am not going to watch it. If you want to watch it, that's great. I'm not going to talk to you about it. So, have fun with that.
Because I bring it up because Dumbo is out.
Yeah, not gonna.
And I don't know. It's kind of like how I've talked about when you were talking about the new Coke Zero with orange flavor. And
orange vanilla flavor.
And I said, well, dear, it's not meant for us. It's
not meant for us.
It's a drink. I mean, when you look at some of the drinks, like for example, how Coke has those slender cans.
Yeah, these tall, slender.
And have these
designer cans.
Designer flavors,
mm-hmm.
if you want to call them that. Those
Feisty cherry.
Those aren't meant for us. I hate saying it like that because it really makes me feel old. That there comes a time in one's life that a product is just not designed for you.
No,
anymore.
you've moved.
You're not.
It's left you behind. It's moved on, and it's like you said.
You're not
There
wrong.
was a big display of Coke, orange, vanilla 12-pack cans in Walmart, like right in the middle of an aisle near the cash registers. And I was like, who is this for? Who is buying? This is nasty. You know, I don't know.
It has that new Coke.
It's going to be backed up in their warehouse.
I mean, in the initial drink, when you start to drink it, it's like, hey, okay, this is a flavor I could get into. And then all of a sudden, as it goes down your throat, it's like, how can I get this out of my system fast? Because that's so nasty. I mean, I'm looking for a secondary beverage to go with that beverage to wash the taste out of my mouth.
What's going to be next? Lime, pineapple,
Well,
Coke?
They do have lime Coke.
Not everywhere. It's kind of difficult to find. Our Walmart that's closest to us is so awful.
I know.
They don't have options. They don't have choices. It's not a full-sized
They say they have the
big
pickup stuff.
They don't.
They don't.
They don't. Like, oh, you can't. You go in there and like have this shipped to the, so I can do the curbside. No, it says on the site you have to come in the store and get that. We can't put it outside for some reason. They're like, why does this store exist? Kill it.
Hey, we got a caller.
We do. Put a stop to this. Are you there?
Hello?
Caller?
Caller?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Are you there?
Michelle.
We
Yes,
are here.
Michelle.
Thank you for calling and putting a stop to our rambling. We appreciate it.
Well, I hit my legs first, everything in order before I turn into a she squatch. Anyway, I thought I'd give everybody a call, say, hey, I'm still hanging in there.
Good.
I had to shut the cats out of my room because my son's gone away for the weekend, and his cat is very needy and screaming in my face, so I just had to shut the door, and I was calling him, like, oh, shoot, it's still in here. Get. Anyway, so you may hear her meowing at the door now and again. Apologies to everyone. I'm not abusing a cat, I promise. It wants to be in my face.
That's like when you hear Muffin come in here. She's just like, hey, I'm here. You need to know it. I'm like, yeah, we know.
Okay. Anyway, what do you guys know about that Jessie Smollett?
Oh, my goodness.
What is she saying?
That's the guy that's in that... he's on a Fox television show that... Go ahead.
He's the one that faked getting hurt, being beat up by Trump supporters.
Supposed Trump supporters, and
but it didn't happen. It found out it wasn't true. They were charging him with it.
He had several charges against him, and they ended up letting him go. Well, not all completely let him go. The bond that he had to relinquish the bond and serve some time, but to do some community service. Exactly.
Which is already served. They said it was already served for another guy.
Yes.
Doing something for him. And it supposedly happened because Michelle Obama sent a text to the judge. And it's being expunged. Even the charges are being expunged off his record.
Well, let's not give up the cow just yet on this one, because there's still the issue of him mailing a letter to himself, which will tie into the government getting involved in this. And I think the government is sending FBI agents to investigate, because we can't just let this corruption like this happen. And so there's going to be more coming down the pipe. He's not totally off the hook yet. So, we'll see. I think it's crap, because in the sense that, if I committed some kind of crime like that, am I going to get out of jail free card like he did?
No.
No.
Okay. And for those who don't know who this is or know this subject, I'll give an update.
Okay.
Jessie Smollett is an actor. He's also happens to be African American, and he is homosexual. Saying it all right, there we go. Anyway, he somehow arranged, it is alleged that he arranged two men who happen to also be African American or African.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were from Africa because they keep on calling them the Nigerian brothers.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing too.
Yes. So I'm not sure. So, censor alert, I don't know for sure, but they show their pictures all the time, and they're two African men.
Mm-hmm.
And they were supposed to come beat him up and everything. He comes half an hour after he calls 911, leaving a noose around his neck, saying that white men attacked him wearing red Trump-supporting hats.
Yeah, MAGA hats.
MAGA hats on their head. They were going to kill him. He fought and got away. And they were yelling, "Make America Great Again," and stuff like that, and very racial slurs.
Right.
And, of course, nobody stopped and thought, oh, he could be making that up. Nobody paused and said, oh, well, what, you know what I mean? They obviously took this minority person's word for it and started the hunt. But as the police were doing the hunting, it started going, well, there was nobody seen anybody with these red hats on, MAGA hats on.
Right.
And then they're like, well, if this happened at this time, who would leave a noose around their neck that long? It wasn't tight on his neck. It was just around his neck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your first instinct was, get this off of me as soon as you've gotten away. And it was just like he had all of America, Democrats, all supporting him, going, oh my gosh, look how awful, look what Trump has caused. And it was sort of a thing, and it's supposed perhaps something to, for the Democrats. But then, ooh, looky, once they found out that was wrong, the media just about shuts right up about it. You don't hear much about it.
Yeah, the thing is that you never hear the media apologize when they're wrong about a situation, when they're promoting the narrative of something like this. I mean, just, I hate to take this as another one, but the Robert Mueller investigation, the thing comes down, he basically says there's no collusion going on with the Russians, and for the past 2 years, all we've heard from I guess news agencies like CNN is their narrative, like that Trump has done all this stuff and he hasn't done it, and and there's no apologies, and now what you're seeing is they're like in this perpetual state of denial, and it's very frustrating because you're watching all this, and as middle Americans such as ourselves, we're seeing it, but it's kind of like frustrating because we see these people and they're pushing a narrative that we know is not true, and quite frankly, if CNN and all these other organizations that have been promoting this narrative don't stop, they're going to just basically get Trump reelected. Because because middle America is not going to put up with their crap as far as promoting it. And going back to this, the thing in Chicago, even the prosecutor basically says, yeah, he's guilty, and and this situation just makes us look bad as Americans, because it just shows that if you've got the money and the prestige, you can go in and get off of a crime. And for a second there, I just had a split, flashback to the O.J. Simpson thing. He basically was accused.
That went on and on and on.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I think, Miss Michelle, that it's a travesty that somebody gets off. Because somebody sends a text or has clout and can tell somebody to just drop the case. I mean, no offense to Chicago, but Chicago has a long history of things that have gone down in Chicago. You know, mobsters, you know, the mafia, and crooked politicians, and I mean, and I'm not going to say that, you know, maybe Houston hasn't had their own, but yeah, there's definitely a history that goes back with Chicago. And
but from what you can tell, the mayor and the police are upset.
Oh yeah, but
they're upset.
But Emmanuel, I can't think of his first name, basically tried to spin this today on or the other day on the news that it's because Trump has created an environment that this is why he went out and created this fake attack. And
oh my God!
And so that makes me mad because, like, that's like saying, so he basically can't own up to his own, I guess, you know, when you do something bad, you need to own up to it. I mean, this is all you. You did this. You know, don't go crying because somebody stole your blanket, and you know, and or whine because it's because that. Of my sexuality and this and I had to go out there and you know, people get a lot of frustration out of that because you know, what happened to, you know, you screw up, you own it, you know. I mean, and I think that's the big frustration what I see on my end on this.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of frustrated with it, just the idea of it, and to think that. Just because he's somebody, and he's, to me, he's not that great of a somebody. How come he's getting off with it?
And initially, you know, he was having trouble with his job, and I think they were going to let him go. And so he concocted this scheme to make him look like a victim. That's what it is. It always comes is the victimization. You know, stop acting like a victim and own up to
man up.
Yeah, man up. Man up or shut up.
Yes. Yeah.
So I agree with you, Miss Michelle.
Yeah, I just thought it was an interesting topic. I kept on typing it in chat, but I guess Surlana hadn't realized about it. But that's all good, Surlana. You can't know everything.
No. I'll just say what he said.
Yeah.
She's not the news junkie like I am, and but anyway, that's I'm just like with you. I'm very frustrated when I see things like this.
Pretty much, we usually end up having the same opinion about a news topic or story or a current event. So I feel pretty confident in like whatever he said. I support it.
She's putting her stamp of approval on my
whatever.
Yeah.
That's, well, I agree with you fully on that because it's infuriating. And to try to say, and no matter what they do, they're trying to spin it against Trump, and Trump had nothing to do with it. The only thing he's doing is pushing the FBI to look into this. Because why should he walk free for that? And he's right.
Yeah. Let me be honest up front, and you know, audience, don't get mad at me for what I'm about to say, but there has been a need for somebody like Trump to come along, to be able to be uninhibited,
shake it up,
and to shake things up, and the status quo, and so it kind of came to me when the mayor of Chicago said that because the environment that Trump has created, he's created an environment because the politicians have been giving us pretty much the same Kool-Aid to drink, whether you're on the left or the right. You're not going to be happy
until we're all the same bland, thinking clones of each other, and we all think the same thing, and we all shun the same thing. And that's just a sign of the end of the world. So
and going back,
and you guys could have it worse. It could be worse for you guys.
Exactly.
You guys could have Trudeau.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that too over there. Yeah, I heard y'all going through a rough patch with your. I guess is he called the Prime Minister there?
Yeah, he's the prime minister there, and he came in and he said, "Oh, I'll do everything I can do to help my vets. Oh, the native Canadians, our native reserves, they need my help. And oh, gay rights, and oh, marijuana." Well, all he's done is marched around in gay parades, legalized marijuana. Yay, what? And then he refuses to give the vets what they need, or veterans.
Yeah, I was watching a video where he was at like a town hall meeting, and one of the lady she stood up like, "Here you're giving all these people that have come over housing, and you're treating them better than our vets." And yeah, don't get me started when it comes to vets, because I have family members that are veterans, and it gets me very frustrated that we don't bend over backwards for these people that have gone overseas to defend our rights and to protect our countries. For I'm very pro-veteran, but yeah, go ahead.
Get this: at the same time he did that, he refused to help the vets.
Yeah.
He paid the terrorists $10 million of our tax-paying dollars to him, and made him a Canadian citizen again that was jailed in the USA for his terrorist crimes. Yeah, that's great. And since we've let in all, and I'm not dissing people coming in, migration and whatnot, but when they pushed on that big rush of migration coming in, and we have had several attacks inside Canada, and you will see it. It goes on the news, and you hear it once.
Yeah, it disappears.
And there's no follow-up. There's nothing. Yeah, it's all because it's hidden, but because they go to speak to him, and then all of a sudden it's talked about no more. It's like blacked out in the media.
So would you say that the CBC kind of quashes the news stories on things like that?
Yes.
Is it just them, or?
Yes. No, I'd say it's all of them. They all shake hands. It's pretty gross over here. I mean, I'm serious, because you'll hear this thing and they'll say it's an act of terror. I know out west in D.C. there's been probably in the last 2 years, 3 years, we've had like 5 attacks there in D.C. And they're small attacks, but they're very much like that ISIS attacks where they take 1 or 2, they have 2 to 3 people, and they take out a number of people, right? And they get themselves killed in the process.
Right.
And every one of them, when you look at it, you go, well, when you look at the news story, you stop and you look at the print because you listen to it, right? But then you have to look at the print and what they're saying. And this person came in with the migrants.
Miss Michelle, can you hold on? We got to take our break. Can you hold on? I'd like to talk to you a little bit more.
Okay, cool. I will.
Awesomeness. All right, so we'll take our break and we'll talk some more with Miss Michelle, and we'll be right back.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Surlana.
The epic battle begins this Friday. Direct from ringside at Laser Death Melt. It's Bot versus Bot in Galaxy's 2-ton weight championship, where your challenger, Good Bot, will face the reigning champion, Bad Bot.
You're terminated.
Reserve seating starting at $30. 2-drink minimum, where ladies don't get in free. This is an SBU production.
You're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Surlana.
All right, we've got Miss Michelle on the phone, and wanted to continue on with our conversation, Miss Michelle. I was going to bring up the fact that, one of the biggest things here we have in the United States right now is the wall, and the incoming people coming across the border. And what really frustrates me is that you have the Democrats who feel like this is not a national crisis. And we're talking about thousands of people trying to get over the border. And if I bring up the topic of immigration across the border, then I'm labeled a racist. And that really pisses me off for the simple fact that for some of my space cadets, you know that my name is Jim Guerrero. Of all names, Guerrero. Why would I be racist against people coming across the border that have familiar names that can go back into my family history name? And so that really frustrates the heck out of me. But I always like to bring up the thing is that you have a house, and if somebody comes through your window, they're coming through illegally. They're in it. They're not invited to this country. I mean, America invites everybody to come here legally. But at the end of the day, if you don't come through the front door like a responsible, normal person, then you need to be thrown back to where you came from. And I know that sounds pretty harsh. And many people that know me know that I'm a loving, caring person, and I would do anybody that's in a situation to give a helping hand. But this migration that's coming across the border is only to break our sovereignty to a point where we don't have a country anymore. And it's a very frustrating topic that a lot of friends I have can't see it like and I bring this up because in Texas I've seen a lot of people crossing the border getting to this country. I mean, America is just a land of opportunity for many people, and then there are people that I'm sure that migrate from down here to go all the way into Canada, and then I'm sure y'all's immigration situation is much different, where you're bringing people over. And we have in situations where we've brought people over from the Middle East and, to get them out of that situation. Not to an extent that a lot of what you see in, say, Europe and maybe in your part of the woods. But at the end of the day, we need to be able to control immigration into into America, because if we don't, then we're going to lose the sovereignty of this nation. And it's this.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I see when I come over. If I want to come over to the U.S., I see a lot of fences on our border from Nova Scotia. It'd be from New Brunswick we border on, and there's a lot of fencing where the border is between Maine and New Brunswick, okay? And there's nothing but fence. And when I go through, I have to show my passport. I have to show my driver's license. You know what I mean? And I have to, of course, obtain a passport to do so. Why should it be any different anywhere else?
Right. I mean,
we're brother-sister countries.
Right. And I was going to say is that, you have to show this information to get into the United States. However, if we've put that same kind of situation on someone else that's trying to get into this country illegally, then you're automatically labeled a racist, or you have some kind of phobia against whatever the person who's trying to get into this country illegally.
I'll tell you something my mother said, and I thought it was pretty impressive, because from the time she heard, we like watching the debates, and when Trump was going up against Hillary, which I know a lot of people were in support of Hillary, I understand, but when she heard the debate, and she realized my mother is very anti-abortion, right, for her own religious reasons, whatever.
Right.
But Trump put a question to her. What about a little baby, 8 months along? Should a mother be able to abort that? Is that not a baby to you? And she says, a woman has a right to do whatever a woman wants to do her body. I don't disagree that a woman should be able to do what she needs to do for her body, and for medical reasons, I can understand different things.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see, I looked at Mom, and I looked at Hillary, and Hillary did not know how to answer those questions.
Right.
Only thing she could do is turn around and say, show me your tax records, show me this, and roll her eyes at it. I think you guys dodged a bullet.
Oh, yeah, I could definitely
I think you guys dodged a bullet. I know that he's not what you would consider your most ideal representation. But she was going to take you guys head charging into a war with Russia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people realize that.
She terrifies me.
And she admitted. Yes, she does me too. I said, here comes World War III if she gets in. World War III is going to start. And she was going to take you guys head first into a war with Russia. And those who want to deny that, deny it all you want. But what problem is Russia really giving us? Why do you think they keep on trying to talk about Russia interfered with the election? How the heck could Russia interfere with your election? What type of pot are you guys smoking over there? Because Canada is illegal, and we want to know. We need some of it to make Trudeau look good. Anyway.
Real quickly, I'm going to throw, I'm just on the gambit tonight. The abortion thing, I am 100% against abortion. And the thing is that we're not fixing the root cause of getting to that point. The point is that it takes two to tango. And,
yes.
Every life is valuable to me and
Definitely.
precious. And,
yes.
Man is just responsible for bringing that life into the world as that woman is. And I'm, sure, it's her body.
I think a man should have rights to that baby, too.
Right.
Unless there was a good reason why he shouldn't. I mean, there is the very small amount or chance, but if a woman is raped, she could become pregnant.
Right.
That man does not deserve to have say on that baby.
I agree.
I agree with that, too.
Also, a woman running from an abusive relationship, if she can prove that he's abusive, he should have no say on that baby. Because that's no environment to bring the baby in.
Mm-hmm.
And there is reasons why I would say, yes, abortion is necessary. One, if you have a small child, a young woman, very young, I call it a child, but a young woman who happened to be a victim and happens to be 12 or something like that and to be pregnant, I would say don't tell the child and abort that baby. I'm sorry. I know that sounds but it saves her some trauma. There's things they can do. Also, there's something so wrong with the baby it's going to die when it's born, but it will go full term. Why wouldn't you save yourself the trauma?
Right.
Those are reasons why I would say yes to an abortion. Not because it's a form of birth control.
Right.
And I am so sick of hearing women, including my own daughter, have told me that, if they happen to get pregnant, that abortion is completely legal now. I could beat them, but I don't. Just want to make it clear, I don't beat my kids. They're grown adults, so it's the assault. But, I'm like, if I had chose that for you guys, you wouldn't be here. You realize that. How many kids wouldn't be here if every parent that got pregnant, at that wrong time Do you know how few of us would be here?
Mm-hmm. My mom was 15 when she had me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See how many of us would not exist because you were, this isn't the right week.
Right.
Because if you use it to those morals, in 10 years' time, it turns into, it's not the right week. No, I want to get pregnant exactly on this day. It moves. You know what I mean? The threshold changes. A life for a life.
Right.
And, you know, I have to disagree with the ongoing idea of abortion as being a means to an end to a problem, because a child is never a problem, sometimes a solution, to be honest. You just don't realize it at times.
Right.
But at the same time, I would never sit there and guilt a woman that's had an abortion, because it is a hard decision. It is a very hard decision to make. And that those poor women out there that had to make those decisions, I feel bad for them, because I haven't spoke to one woman that's done that don't think about it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Don't, live with that, because they realize afterwards, I think, when it's too late.
Right.
It's a sin. So I'm not dissing anybody who has. That's their decision. But myself, I could not do that.
I totally agree with you. I mean,
yeah. So that was another touchy subject. What other touchy subjects can we hit in one call?
Well, going back to what you said about Trump and all that, him being accused of collusion. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, just making sure.
I'm proud of you.
It's late. But,
good job.
The thing is that, the reality is we need to investigate Hillary on collusion, because she's the one that came up with that, hired that, the former British spy to create that dossier that went through the courts, the FISA courts, and to get it all come down. And she's also responsible for making that deal with Russia over the nuclear fuel that she made a deal with Russia, and Bill got a kickback of some kind when he did a speech. I mean, it was within the same time that he did a speech in Russia and got a substantial, I guess, speaking fee out of that whole situation. There's a lot of things that haven't been investigated on that side that really does point to a collusion, but it's not Trump. And
no.
And it's
almost like it disappoints them, so they go back at another angle and try to say it's Trump.
Right.
Well, Trump must have done this. But anything they say that he did, the evidence never stacks up all the way. And of course, the media doesn't line it out that way. That's why I said with anything like that, you need to go back and read it, because they're not saying it all.
Right.
Or they're saying it so fast or in a way that points you in the direction they want you to go to.
Well, as things go along, and the new Attorney General Burr gets this the Mueller report documented and to get it to Congress and get that out of the way, I'm sure we're going to see people being going after with subpoenas over lying to Congress and much more. So, I mean, I think that we're going to see a lot of things come down the pipe, and as Americans, we just be patient here to see those things happen, and hope that things get taken care of. So,
yes, yeah.
All right.
I do hope. I hope things straighten out.
Anyway, I'm the eternal optimist, Michelle, as you might know.
Yes, you are.
So
God love you.
Oh, I love you too. And I appreciate you calling, and I'm sending out a big virtual hug to you. I was much younger when I lost my father, and I know how much my dad meant to me, and so my hugs go out to you, dear.
Thank you. I feel like a lot of days I'm 5 years old again. I sit there and sob sometimes. Oh my gosh. My boss called me the other day, and I was in his room trying to go through some of his clothing, right? And, straighten things up a bit. And so, of course, I was already teary-eyed, and she calls me, and she tried to talk to me about something, but when I was coming back to work, then she asked me his date of death, and I just started waiting. And she goes, "Are you getting help?" And I go, "I don't think you understand my circumstances right now. You'll have to talk to me tomorrow." And the next day when she called me, I said I apologized to her for being sharp and being upset. And I said, "Look, I was in his room trying to go through his stuff, and you're asking me questions my heart just couldn't take at that moment." You have to understand, when you call somebody nowadays, they're not standing in their kitchen hanging off the phone line, right?
Right.
They're anywhere.
They're disconnected
anyway. Yeah. So, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And I said,
she should be.
It's okay.
Sounds sensitive.
Well, she was a little bit, and I think she thought that I was, doing nothing but sobbing the whole time I was since his death, right?
Well, so what if you were? That's none of her business.
No, I know. She was worried about my mental health. Everything's about your freaking mental health. People, get a straw, suck it up, and do what was done for years.
Mental health. I like that.
That's my freaking mental health. Really, you care about my freaking mental health? You guys know what I do for work? My mental health is not cared about there at all.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
37 persons that I have to take care of under my order when I'm working, and they're all batshit crazy. I'm sorry, bat poop crazy. I'm serious. So do not talk to me about whether you think my mental health is okay. It's not, because I'm still working there. I'm sorry. That was my little rant for the moment.
If it helps,
I enjoyed it.
If it helps, let it out.
Thank you. It was I'm quite sarcastic sometimes. Do you still need to... listen, I have another story I can fill you in on. My mother's a Mormon.
Okay.
And my father had joined that faith too, but mostly just for my mother, because, he still smoked and drank coffee, so, didn't work out that way for him. Anyway, he... and just for those that don't know, Mormons do not smoke cigarettes. They do not drink coffee or tea. My father would do all three things in one day most times. Anyway, and sometimes, conjoined. Anyway, so this man that's supposed to be, they call it a visiting home teacher. He's a man, he's supposed to be one of their brethren at the church that's supposed to come with his wife, and they come and visit once a month and make sure, they talk Bible stuff. Anyway, he, of course, and his wife have been stopping in since Dad's passing, just to check on Mom, right, which is nice. When he comes in, and so we used to live in Annapolis area, and there was this gentleman who's my parents' age that would, once he met me through my parents, would chase me nonstop, scarily, like he would... You know those people that look at you and they're looking at you naked?
No.
You know what I'm talking about, guys?
Well, I usually respond with, "Well, do you like what you see?" I mean...
No, but it's one of those things. Like, you have these people that look at you and are undressing you with their eyes.
Ew.
And they get uncomfortably... And he's a toad of a man. He's a little fat toad. And the closer he'd get, the heavier he would start breathing at me and my chest. You know what I mean? And his eyes wouldn't leave my chest. And it was, really, really uncomfortable. Well, when they lived in the Annapolis area, they didn't do anything about that down there because they loved him so much. Well, apparently he's moved up here. And so this guy comes in. My dad had told him about this man who he says, I have no interest in seeing him come near here because my daughter does not need that. He was really inappropriate, and nobody would do anything about it within the church, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he comes to our house tonight, and I broke down crying at this point because he says, oh, this guy, blah, blah, says his name and says, he said he's going to come give you girls a visit here sometime soon. And my mother almost had a conniption, but I immediately looked at her and I said, no, you can tell him that he's not welcome here. And if he does show up on my doorstep, I will be calling 911. I do not want that pervert near me, and nor will he be coming and bothering my poor mother just because she's single. Because I think in the Mormon church they think you should be married if you're a woman. And so he thought that was okay in his head, right?
Hmm.
And I was like, my father's body's barely cooled.
Right.
Monday it'll be 2 weeks that he passed away, and you have a man coming on our doorstep. What? It's like, I just about lost it. I said, you better tell him, because I said, I will think nothing of throwing him off my doorstep physically myself, because I will not be having this. Not in my house, no time soon. And Mom says, Michelle has spoken, and I will let her do it. And he's like, okay, message received. How do you want me to tell? Maybe I said, no, you tell him directly. He is not allowed here. We don't want him. Oh, okay. And it made him right uncomfortable, but he'd been told before that we did not want him around us. And yet now that my father's gone, you're going to start telling me you just made us a target? What is wrong with people? What is wrong with people?
I don't know,
Anyway.
but it's getting worse, so
It is getting worse. Luckily, now they're Mormon, but my neighbor, he's a Baptist minister, and he has 13 kids. And he has 13 kids, but he has 7 of them are sons, and 2 sons live nearby because they've grown up, right? But he has 3 sons in his house. And he had told me before, like Mom was jokingly saying, I'm going to have men knocking on my door now. And he says, no, you won't. Not if you don't want them. You call me, and I'll get rid of them.
Awesome.
So, yes. See, because I think Dad was Baptist really, he was brought up Baptist. And him and this Baptist minister became really, really good friends. And really, he's been a really good person to us since Dad passed. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to show my son how to run. My son is autistic.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to show Quentin how to run the ride-on lawnmower.
Oh.
And stuff like that. And he's, you know what I mean? He's going to, I think he's actually going to be quite beneficial to our family in helping, with things that we may need help with come the coming months. So that's wonderful.
Well, that sounds great.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a religious person, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't mean like that, but I mean, it's just funny. The Baptist minister is going to take better care of us than the Mormon. Go figure. Anyway,
well,
on that note, I will let you guys go.
We loved your call tonight, and it was a good call.
Yes.
I know, the controversy, just think of it all. And everybody, it wasn't Spaceboy and Surlana, it was me. So if you have hate about anything said tonight, it's me. Come after me.
Okay, Miss Michelle, remember what I said about taking ownership. I'm a big boy. I can take the hits. So.
And I'm still glad you're our friend anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, love you guys.
Love you too. Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
All right. Let's take our break, Surlana. Last break of the evening. And
yeah. Oh, cool. Skype just died? Okay.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU Network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Surlana.
Get your game on Spaceboy Universe. Level up with Spaceboy Universe. No quarters, no problems. Play it at Spaceboy Universe.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Surlana.
All right, we're back on the air, and you can put your headphones on.
I thought we had more time.
No, we only have the time that we're given.
Well, during that wonderful conversation, which I did listen to and pay attention and I appreciated, from our Space Cadet, Miss Michelle.
I actually really enjoyed that conversation. I don't know if
more Space Cadets should call in with stuff like that, and then it would be like good content, and I don't have
in
to
other words,
sit here and ramble.
It'd be more Spaceboy than Surlana?
Yes, it's awesome. Let's just start phasing me out. It'd be awesome. But something did occur to me.
What's that?
And why it's taken me 4 years to get this epiphany. Why you, Spaceboy, like Spaceboy Universe. You like Spaceboy Universe, Spaceboy, because it forces you and me to have a conversation and spend time together. Isn't that right, Bev?
Sure.
What's wrong with that?
It's just funny to me.
I think that, let's look at this for a second. A husband that wants to spend time with his wife.
That's so weird.
It is a good thing. I mean, you're my only friend.
Yeah, that's true. We've only got each other in the end.
Let's not forget about Rule 24 Mile.
No?
Do you want to explain that to the audience, the 24 Mile rule?
Oh, he's your friend and he'll do anything for you as long as you live within a 24-mile radius. If you're out 25 miles or out, you're effed.
That's, in other words, that's physically.
Physically.
I just,
Need help moving? Oh, you live 26.7 miles away, you're effed.
Look, the thing is that, I love everybody. That, I got my... Bev, did you enjoy my little Good Morning Sunshine thing I sent you this morning?
Yes, I did.
See?
That was cute.
It was a random thing, just knowing that, you usually send me stuff. I said, you know what? I'm up at an ungodly time this morning, and I'm going to send Bev a little something to just let her know that I'm thinking about you.
Kiss up.
But the thing is that the reality is that I don't really like to leave home and go places. And why are you looking at me like that, Surlana?
I think that's you. If I would get up at 5 a.m., you'd love to get up and go places.
I mean, Bob and I are homebodies too.
See, I'm a homebody. I did a lot of things in the 90s that I did that. I'm at an age that I like to come home and watch a little TV and then go to bed. That's my thing.
I'm actually thinking of going out tomorrow.
I know that I have to get my butt up and get to work the next morning. That's my life.
Bev, I'm actually thinking about leaving the house tomorrow during the daylight hours to go, if it's open, and I think it should be open, to Bath and Body Works to do a pre-sniff test and start making a catalog of things I like that Spaceboy can buy me next month. So there.
There you go.
Apparently she doesn't like it when I scratch my butt, and I said, here, smell this. Does this smell bad to you?
If he ever did that, it would be the last thing he ever did. So that should tell you something.
I don't think I'm getting enough fiber. What do you think?
That's probably true. That's probably true. I don't know what's going on with you, but I'm gonna guess that's probably true. Anyway. So.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you guys, I need you to keep me in your prayers. I'm going out to the hospital tomorrow.
Okay.
I was going to say, is it a reference to what you posted earlier this evening?
Yeah.
Well, you're always in my prayers, so that's a given. So.
Those slipper socks you get from the hospital.
Yeah.
Mine is soaking wet from my leg seeping, so.
Hopefully, there's something they can do for you, Bev.
Hope so.
Yeah. Well, see, I went to WebMD, and they were saying that it could be caused, liver, kidneys.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already have that problem with my kidneys, so.
I thought you said that doctors had said you're on the right track with that.
Yeah. It was at like 52% the last time I went.
Mm-hmm.
They were. And
but I've been feeling really tired and have no gumption, and that's the way I felt the last time I was at the hospital when I had my pneumonia, when they discovered my kidneys were not working. So, kind of scary.
It is.
And it's got me worried. Well, we were gonna go tonight, but Bob's he's got a migraine, and he's very tired. So I told him, I said, well, tomorrow we will go out. And he said, yes, dear.
Good answer.
He normally does, will say, yes, dear. And he told my great-nephew when he got married, he said, now, he says, I want you to know, he says, I'm going to give you some advice. He said, the two best words that you can tell your wife is yes, dear, when they want you to do something, or when she wants you to do something. And he said, and never tell her. If she asks you if this dress makes her look fat, you say, no, dear, you look wonderful in it. Oh, that's from my Bob.
Well, with me, when Surlana scratches behind my ear and my leg starts twitching, then that's to get me to do things.
Oh, I can't, Bob. Oh, I can't stand to have my ears messed with. And he'll come up behind me. Huh?
I said, I don't think I do any. I never say, you need to do this, and I don't think I ever tell you stuff like that, because I don't want to do things either.
That's because I was brought up right to I kind of like read the book of being a good husband. I didn't work out for the last wife. But
well, I mean, maturity too, but also, I think the thing is, you and I now have this mutual pact about helping getting the garbage out of the house and to the curb, and that's probably the thing that we've really come together on, is getting the garbage out of the house.
Because nothing says marriage like getting the garbage together to the curb.
Well, they don't. There's a lot of things about marriage that I didn't know, that I didn't expect or even dream of. There should be a manual about, here's some stuff that might come up, get ready. Like, how often you actually talk about bowel movements. That is very surprising. How much that comes up very casually, too. No embarrassment whatsoever. Completely comfortable. So, look what you did.
She's blaming you.
And the husband may get delusions of grandeur and want to start a podcast and rope you into it. That's another one I didn't see coming. I would have prepared, for a counter statement for that. But just living with another human being, wedlock or not, is not the same as dating them and they have their own place. It just isn't.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going to say this podcast was probably the best thing for our marriage. Don't deny it.
I don't know. I'm feeling drained.
Aww.
Yeah. I can't give it my all anymore. I feel like I can't keep up the level of research. I just don't have I feel like I have the time.
Well, I don't know who I was talking to about this. Maybe the show needs to metamorphosize into something else.
Yeah, I think it does.
And
I think it should be run. I think it should be, instead of you and me, should be two robots. Like two AIs talking to each other.
Adobe will not put out that dang program that I want.
Because it's terrifying. They've got some sense, thank God. It's terrifying.
It needs to be put out. And then I don't need you. Because I'll just source out the recordings.
If you just took some time, take a few months of weekends and pull snippets yourself, you could make something like that yourself.
Actually, my conversation with Miss Michelle gave me a lot of ideas.
Good. They don't involve me, I hope.
Yeah, I never even heard of that guy before. I didn't even know who he was. I had to ask Bob. And Bob says, well, he's an actor. I was like, well, I never heard of him.
Yeah, he's out there.
I mean, if it was you or I that did that, we'd be behind bars.
Yep. Tossed the key away, locked it up.
Yep. And I have to agree with you too on the racism too. You know, if we would, you know, say something about a race, then we're racist.
Well, you know, it's like I said, that's the narrative nowadays, that if you do not agree with the opposition opinion, then you're labeled a racist, a man baby, or, you know, the list is enormous. I mean, it's not, I mean, it used to be we could have a civil conversation in this America, and now it's like nobody, you know, it's my way or forget you, you know, get out of my face kind of thing. And I hate that because it makes me sad because, you know, I have friends that that I've been, you know, known since I was a teenager, and if just, you know, it's a minefield. If I step on the wrong mind, you know,
yeah,
I'm automatically, you know, labeled that.
But yet, you know, and you know, it's okay for, you know, like African Americans to call themselves the N-word, but if we would do it, then we're racist. We're racist.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We've come a long
and
ways.
I'm not prejudiced.
Come along. Yeah, no, I totally I agree with you. I'm not racist. I made the point, like I said, we got illegals coming across the border.
Yeah.
You know, that have similar names that are like my last name, and I'm not racist to one iota of the situation. But yet, people will come out just because I say we need to put up a wall, and
we do. You know, because I mean, they're coming across here in droves, and we can't even take care of our own people here. Well, Bob was saying that they're talking about letting them vote the next election, the illegals.
Right. That's
what?
Exactly.
No, they don't live here. It's not their country. You know, it's like.
Yeah, it's like back. Many people have lost their common sense. I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, they have. And then, and then Hillary, she shouldn't have even been allowed to run because she was under federal investigation. So, you know, and I do hope that Donald gets reelected.
Well, if things keep going the way they are, it's a good chance that he might be handed the election. So, I mean...
Yeah, and like you said, you know, and Bob said the same thing. They are setting the election up for him to win by their actions.
Right.
It's like, you know, it's been... They have never given up trying to get him impeached. And there's nothing there for him to be impeached over. I tell you, I don't know what this world's coming to. You know it?
It's a strange universe out there.
Yeah, it is really strange. Scary, too.
Well, Bev, we're starting to wind down the show. Anything else you want to add? Oh, well, first off, I want to make sure you understand that we love you to death, and make sure Bob gets
Take care of each other.
Get get Bob to get you that help. Because
he will.
we, as we still make our shows, we still want you around.
Oh yeah, he worries to death about me.
Well, that's a good man.
He don't, he won't let this go.
Good.
So,
well,
he's a good man.
We'll get some help, and we look forward to getting a status report from you for next week's show.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, I'll make sure I PM you.
Good. Well, good night, Bev.
Well, good night. I love you guys.
Love you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. What an interesting show tonight, huh, Surlana?
Yeah. It's, no matter what they're talking about, even if you don't agree or like it, someone else is doing the talking, and that's always good. Means I don't have to say anything or do anything.
Okay. Yeah, let's see here.
I just had one more thing, if we've got time. Do you have an opinion or care about the Sega Genesis Mega Drive Mini?
The Mini? It looks cool.
Coming out in September?
I've seen it. It looks cool. I'd like to do some more research on it, but if it pans out...
Sonic the Hedgehog, Echo the Dolphin, Altered Beats, Toe Jam and Earl, Castlevania Bloodlines.
I think it also has Mortal Kombat 2 and 3.
Well, it says Castlevania, Space Harrier 2, Shining Force, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Comic Zone, Altered, and Beast Gunstar Heroes. I don't know any of those beyond Sonic because I never had a Sega Gen. I never had anything but the Odyssey. So
is that the one from AT Games?
I don't know. I know it ain't that bootleg thing we saw the other day.
Oh, that was fun. That was hilarious.
That guy ordered this illegal cartridge. Was it for NES? From China or Japan?
I have the similar one. It has 500 games on it. That looks like the classic one. But,
K28, where you been? Oh, you're funny, K.
What did he say?
Maybe if the show is hosted by the callers, SBU can be saved? ?
Only time will tell.
Well, we'll see. Like I said, it could just be reborn as something new and different. It may not be the end. It could just be a metamorphosis. No, don't know, can't guarantee. We shall see.
Well, we'll see. Maybe it'll be a platform talking about the freedom of speech, and
that'll quickly get shut down.
Well, you gotta fight the fight. This
fight the power.
Freedom of speech is so important. I mean, obviously, you look over across the pond, and
Article 13.
Article 13 is.
I think that's the beginning of the end of free speech over there. I really do. I don't believe this copyright protection bullcrap. I think that's just a front.
It's just people don't understand memes.
Yeah, they're not meant for fame. Rarely anybody puts their name to something they make. In fun. So I don't get who's hurting. Who's hurting for that? But let's do that. That's why we watch PewDiePie, because he has a take on this. About what it's really all about. But
I quote Star Trek, the original series, where Kirk is in the alternate universe speaking to alternate universe Spock, and it's going to take one man with a vision to make a change for the future.
Hopefully it's not the Antichrist.
Yeah, so, we have to put up the fight. We have to continue to, fight what we believe for, we can't just sit idling by while people oppress people. It's so important that we speak up on what we have to believe in.
Yeah, that guy. Well, is it that time yet?
Well, I guess we can pull the string on the commode.
What?
See, even the goat was laughing.
Oh, Lord. circling the drain.
It has been an interesting evening, and we appreciate all the Space Cadets for showing up this evening. Let's see.
Thank you, Kay. He said he was listening during his, his drive or whatever he was doing.
He does a lot of listening when he's driving, so
I appreciate that. Thank you, Kay.
Mm-hmm. I recall his conversations when he would call up Fade to Black, and he'd be driving somewhere, and so. All right, on that magical note, remember, Space Cadets, your commander loves you, and we appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you next Saturday, right here on Spaceboy Universe.
Spaceboy Universe is hosted by Spaceboy and Surlana. Executive producer is Surlana. Associate producer is Lee Ann Cordes. Music production is Spaceboy of SpaceboyMusic.com. Special thanks goes out to Lee Ann K, K28, Dino, Solars Blue Raven, Patrick Sporer, Bob and Beverly N. This has been a Spaceboy Universe production. Support the universe by exploring Spaceboy Universe with Spaceboy and Surlana. Sweet dreams, Space Cadets. You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Surlana.